I guess I could have figured this out first. Okay, hopefully this is help doing. Is this working? Is it working? Yes, okay, fantastic. All right, welcome back. We're going to continue with chapter 8 here. Bildad's first response to Job. Then Bildad the Shuhite answered and said, "How long will you say these things? And does the words of your mouth be a mighty wind? Does God pervert justice, or Shaddai pervert righteousness?" Those are synonyms, by the way. If your children sinned against him, then he sent them into the power of their transgression. If you yourself would seek God, then you would plead to Shaddai for grace. If you are pure and upright, indeed, now he will rouse himself for you, and he will restore your righteous abode. Though your beginning was small, your end will be very great. Indeed, please tall where there is not a marsh, will reeds flourish without water. While it is in its flower and not plucked, yet it withers before all grass. So are the paths of all who forget God, and the hope of the godless will perish, whose confidence is cut off, and whose trust is a spider's house. I guess that means it's like a trap. He will lean himself against the house, but it will not stand. He will take hold of it, but it will not endure. He is thriving before the sun, and his plants shoot spread over his garden. His roots twine over a stone heap. He sees a house of stone. If he destroys him from his place, then it deceives him, saying, "I have never seen you." Look, this is the joy of his way, and from dust others will spring up. Look, God will not reject the blameless, and he will not uphold the hand of evildoers. Yet he will fill your mouth with laughter, and your lips with a shout of joy. Those who hate you will be clothed with shame, and the tent of the wicked will be no more. Technology is awesome. Then Job answered and said, "Truly I know that it is so. But how can a human being be just before God? If he wants to contend with him, he cannot answer him 1 time in 1,000. He is wise in heart and mighty in strength. Who has resisted him and succeeded? He is the one who moves mountains, and they do not know how, who overturns them in his anger. He is the one who shakes the earth from its place, and its pillars tremble. He's the one who commands the sun, and it does not rise, and he seals up the stars. He is the one who alone stretches out the heavens, and who tramples on the waves of the sea. He is the one who made the Bear and Orion, the Pleiades, and the constellations of the south. He is the one who does great things beyond understanding, and marvelous things beyond number. If he passes by me, I would not see him. If he should move on, I would not recognize him. If he would snatch away, who could turn him? Who could say to him, "What are you doing?" God will not turn back his anger. Beneath him, the helpers of Rahab bow. How much less can I myself answer him? How can I choose my words with him, whom I cannot answer, even though I am righteous? From my judge I must implore grace. If I summon him, and he should answer me, I do not believe that he will listen to my voice, who crushes me with the tempest and multiplies my wounds without cause. He will not allow me to catch my breath, rather he will fill me with bitterness. If it is a matter of strength, look, he is mighty. But if it is a matter of justice, who can summon me? Even though I am righteous, my mouth will condemn me. Even though I am blameless, yet it would pronounce me guilty. I am blameless. I do not care about myself. I loathe my life. It is all one, therefore I say, he destroys both the blameless and the wicked. When the whip kills suddenly, he mocks at the despair of the innocent. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covers the face of his judge. If it is not he, then who is it? And my days are swifter than a runner. They flee away, they do not see good. They go like papyrus skiffs, like an eagle swoops down on its prey. Though I say, I will forget my complaint. I will change my expression, and I will rejoice. I become afraid of all my sufferings. I know that you do not consider me innocent. If I shall be declared guilty, then if I wash myself with soap and I cleanse my hands with lye, then you plunge me in the slime pit, and my clothes abhor me. For he is not like a mortal that I can answer him, that we can come to trial together. There is no arbiter between us, that he might lay his hand on both of us. May he remove his rod from me, and let his dread not terrify me. Then I would speak and not fear him, for in myself I am not fearful. So, this stupid cameraman. Why? Okay, sorry. Job still really seems... So, everyone says he's faithful to God, but he's characterizing God in within his understanding, but he's still kind of like, and I guess I get why his friends are like, what are you saying? You're righteous, and that your faith is in your righteousness, and Job's kind of irritated because it's like, well, were you just being righteous so that God would acknowledge you? Because that's the problem with Cain, right? Abel sacrificed to God. See, we don't get a lot of detail, but it seems like just out of his heart, he's like, hey, I recognize that everything comes from you, so I want to give as a sign of gratitude and recognition. And God thought that was cool. But then Cain saw that God thought what Abel did was cool, so he wanted to do it too. But not out of the fullness of his heart, but because he wanted God to acknowledge him. And then, we know what happened. He got mad and killed Abel instead of trying to understand. Well, Job's sort of doing that too a little bit, where he's like, well, what's the point of all this righteousness that I've decided I have? What's the point of it if I'm going to suffer anyway? But he's also characterizing God as this nasty, unfair, vengeful guy who just wants to flex his power. And it's like, I mean, yeah, God is powerful, but he's also merciful. And so I see where Job's thinking is, I don't know, growing up, I always heard Job as just this hero of the faith who went through all this suffering and stayed upright and righteous, but he didn't do that. He's having a tough go of it. And I mean, understandably, my goodness, every time I'm having a rough day, I can't help but think, well, at least you're not suffering like Job, and everything's relative, so that only helps a little bit, but it helps a little bit. But either way, that's not, if we're looking for God to give us what we want, how the heck do you know what you want? I mean, how many times, even as a kid, I remember thinking, if I just had this thing and then everything would, yeah, right. I got the thing, it sat on the shelf, or I used it, and it's like, there's never some magical thing. It's just, you just gotta go through it, and it sucks sometimes. I think the key is to trust that God has something at the end. That's why you don't kill yourself. And really, I mean, that's what Job didn't do. He didn't kill himself. He wanted to die, but he wouldn't. He still left that in God's hand. He begged for it, but he didn't take it upon himself, which is a testament of faith. But for him to say that he is righteous, I think you're playing a dangerous game there, Job. My inner self loathes my life. I want to give vent to my complaint. I want to speak out of the bitterness of my inner self. I will say to God, you should not condemn me. Let me know why you contend against me. Is it good for you that you oppress, that you despise the labor of your hands, and you smile over the schemes of the wicked? Do you have eyes of flesh, or do you see as human beings see? Are your days as the days of human being, or your years as the days of man? That you seek out my iniquity and you search for my sin, because of your knowledge that I am not guilty, and there is no escaping from your hand. Your hands fashioned and made me altogether, then you destroyed me. Please remember that you made me like clay, but you turned me into dust again. Did you not pour me out like milk and curdle me like cheese? You clothed me with skin and flesh, and you knit me together with bone and sinews. You have granted me life and loyal love, and your care has preserved my spirit. Yet you hid these things in your heart. I know that this was your purpose. If I had sinned, then you would be watching me, and you would not acquit me of my guilt. If I am guilty, woe to me. But if I am righteous, I dare not lift my head. I am filled with shame, and just look at my misery. If my head grows bold, would you hunt me as a lion in its prime? And you repeat your exploits against me. You renew your witnesses against me, and you increase your vexation against me. Relief forces are against me. So why did you bring me forth from the womb? I should have passed away, and no eye should have seen me. I should have been as though I had not been. I should have been brought from the womb to the grave. Are not my days few? Let him leave me alone. Let him turn from me, and let me rejoice a little before I go, and I will return to the land of darkness and deep shadow, to the land of darkness, like the darkness of a deep shadow and chaos, so that it shines forth like darkness. That's a lot of darkness. So, let's see here. There's something. I want to speak out. I will say to God, you should not condemn me. Let me know why you contend against me. Is it good for you that you oppress, that you despise the labor of your hand, and you smile over the schemes of the wicked? God's not doing it. Satan is doing it. But God's allowing Satan to do it. And I think Job maybe it's like a reframing that needs to occur in his mind or something. And I mean, I guess it's the question, why do bad things happen to good people? Well, who's good but the Father? I mean, what is good? No one's good. We try. But it's all human standards. We don't understand anything. And so, I mean, is it necessary to I'm going to think about this one for a bit. It's a short little stream, but thanks for listening. Have a good day. God bless.